On the left of your screen is Baby Jane Holzer, internationally famous model and fashion pace setter. This is Jim Duff of Cable, Ohio, Petty Officer 3rd Class, United States Navy. Both Baby Jane and Sailor Jim Duff buy their clothes in the same store. The proprietor of that store is our first guest on To Tell the Truth. What is your name, please?
My name is Seymour Post.
My name is Seymour Post.
My name is Seymour Post.
Only one of these gentlemen is the real Seymour Post. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Joan Fontaine on To Tell the Truth. And now here's our host on To Tell the Truth, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. And thank you for the largest ticker tape parade I think I've ever seen. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Nice to be with you again. And Joan Fontaine, a special welcome to you. It's good of you to be with us while Kitty is away on a singing engagement.
Well, it's lovely to be taking your place and to see you all.
Always a joy to have you. In front of you, you'll find your envelopes. Will you open up one there and follow along with me on this first story? I, Seymour Post, am co-owner of Richard's Army and Navy Store. The shop is located on West 42nd Street in New York and has been in my family for 31 years. Until recently, our customers were men. Today, almost half of them are women. It all started when it became the new look in fashion for girls to dress like boys. Baby Jane Holzer and a host of young fashion models invaded our store and bought us right out of bell-bottom trousers, ammunition belts, fatigue shirts, and pea jackets. Then such well-known couturiers as Givenchy and Yves Saint Laurent came in person to see our store and went back to Paris to start glorifying the military look in their new collections. Now our soldiers and sailors have to fight their way through bevies of beautiful girls to get to the merchandise, such as this regulation chambray shirt worn by Baby Jane Holzer with an authentic marine belt and white bell-bottom trousers. Fashion model Gail Sheldon is wearing blue bell-bottom trousers, a white turtleneck shirt, and a pea jacket with officer's epaulettes and brass buttons. High fashion's invasion of our Army and Navy store has had one definite effect. All of us are now experts at translating men's sizes into women's. It's the hips that count. Signed, Seymour Post. Gentlemen all claim to be, as you heard, Seymour Post. Let's start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you. Mr. Post number 2, do you own just one Army-Navy store?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Mr. Post number 3, there are loads of Army-Navy stores over the country. Do you have to get permission from the government to run one?
No.
Well, number 1, how do you get all that Navy stuff, all those clothes?
They're bought as surplus material from the government and also from private manufacturers.
Thank you. Number 3, how many buttons on a sailor's pants?
13.
Thank you. That's a lot of buttons. Number 1, how many buttons on a sailor's pea jacket?
There are 8.
Thank you. And number 2, near your place of business...
Orson Bean, excuse me.
Thank you.
Peggy, sorry.
Now, I am very well acquainted with that particular block. That's one of the wildest blocks in the world. Now, number 3, there is a theater, a movie theater. It's right between Hubert's Flea Circus and the Dirty Bookstore. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Should be across from you. What's the name of that theater?
I think it's the New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam. Number 1, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Number 2, is there a lyric theater on that block?
Yes, sir.
Number 2, again, what recently did the city of New York do to discourage vagrants, ne'er-do-wells, and people from the moon?
Robert Price came up there and started a campaign to try to do away with them.
Yeah?
But he wasn't very successful.
Oh, no.
Joan Fontaine.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, who designed the uniform for the Waves?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Number 1, what is the Army equivalent of the Waves?
The wax.
Number 2, who designed the uniform for the wax?
I don't know, ma'am.
Number 3, what was the origin of the bell-bottom trouser?
Well, I think traditionally it was that you can get the pants off without having to take the shoes off in case your ship is sinking.
John Poston.
And what modern uses? Okay. Number 2, do you sell any weapons in your store of any kind?
No, sir.
Not of any kind at all?
Well, we sell hunting knives, skin diving equipment, but no weapons.
I see. Number 3, when you sell, what do you sell in canvas besides belts?
Well, tents, ponchos, rubberized canvas.
Great store.
That's it.
No idea.
Time for you now to mark your ballot, so please do so. There's no further time for questioning. Just simply with the information you have, mark your ballot. Mark without any consultation and don't change once you've marked. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Are your ballots all marked, panel? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Bud, I didn't get to ask one any questions, although I thought he answered all that he was asked beautifully, as did everyone else. But I voted for number 2 because he looks like a guy who would take an interest in the difference between men's and women's hips in the South.
Peggy Cass.
Well, they were right about the buttons, but I voted for number 2 because he knew who came down to clean up the street, and as usual, on 42nd Street, they never succeed.
Orson.
I almost voted for 3 when he said that he just made it up about the bell-bottom pants being wide so the shoes could come up. But I voted for number 2 as well because he looks like he runs a store on 42nd Street to me.
You want to answer now with yours?
All right,
Out of everything? Okay, Joan.
I voted for number 2 because I think he's made his jacket out of surplus.
Sometimes this unanimous business serves you well, sometimes it serves you ill. Let's see what it does to you this time in finding out which one of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Seymour Post. Will the real Seymour Post please stand up? Well done, gentlemen. A good job of fooling all the way. You have done what we often call skunked the panel, and did it very well, too. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
Seymour Post. He runs an Army-Navy store.
Number 2, what is your real name
My
and
name
what
is
do you
Abe
do?
Moak. I'm a liquor salesman for Capital Distributors in New York City.
Thank you, sir. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Mel Lazarus, and I draw a comic strip called Miss Peach.
Well, in checking the score, you all did mighty well. Believe me, every one of you. It's a good job of fooling. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 incorrect votes. That's 4 times $250, $1,000, gentlemen. And thank you for being with us this night. Goodbye, and God bless you. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bob McGrath.
My name is Bob McGrath.
My name is Bob McGrath.
Follow along again, panel, if you will, with this next story inside that next envelope. I, Bob McGrath, was a member of the cast of the television program Sing Along with Mitch. After returning with Maestro Miller from a successful group tour of Japan, I decided to go back to the land of the rising sun as a solo performer. I have since become one of Japan's leading vocalists. The Japanese people seem to like my Irish tenor voice and are particularly partial to sad songs like Danny Boy and the music of Stephen Foster. I have recorded 2 albums, made several commercials, and sing 5 nights a week on Japanese television. I have appeared at several of the top Tokyo nightclubs, including the Copacabana and the Latin Quarter. My Japanese fans call me Babu Maguras, signed Bob McGrath. these three gentlemen all claim to be Bob McGrath, we'll start this cross-examination with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. Mr. McGrath, number 2, what is the Ginza?
The Ginza, that's the main street in Tokyo, or a series of main streets.
Yeah, there's a little place I could tell you stories. I don't want to go into the details.
Orson.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Number 3, do you ever sing Danny Boy in Japanese?
Yes.
Did you learn the songs phonetically, or can you speak Japanese? I'm not going to ask you to, but can you?
Phonetically.
Yeah. Well, arigato. Number 1, after a hard day's work taping a show, or do you ever go to one of those steam baths where the ladies give you a rub down? I'd like to. This is off the record. Just tell me. You can tell me.
I haven't, but I'd like to.
Yeah, great.
Joan Fontaine.
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what does the Imperial Hotel face in Tokyo? Number 1?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I've never stayed there.
And you don't know it. Number 3, what is the big theater where they have the Japanese chorus girls and the big spectacles, the biggest one?
The Takaratsa, I believe.
Number 2, what is Kamimeguro?
Call me Meguro?
Yes.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Number 2 again.
Tom Poston.
Oh, this is not terrible. I wish I knew what Kami Meguro was. Number 3, do you happen to know the origin of the song Danny Boy?
I believe it was London Derriere.
That sounds like a naughty word in French. Number 2, there was a great friend of mine. The great pal of mine was on that show, on Mitch Miller's show. He's a large Swedish fellow, and his name is Stanley. Do you know what range his voice is?
Stanley?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, he's some good actor, all right. Number 1, you know Frank Lloyd Wright.
Sorry, Tom. Peggy Cass.
I'd like to ask number 1 a question.
It's not your time. Number 3, who's Jimmy Starbuck?
He was the choreographer, I believe, on the show.
Thank you. Number 1, in the Irish song, A Pretty Girl Milking Her, what does she milk? A pretty girl milking...
I don't know that song.
Oh, well, it's not that well known. Now, number 2...
What did you ask him for, then?
Oh, I thought he might know it. Gee,
I'm just trying to think of how many things you can
Number
milk.
2. It was a cow.
Well, what
What do
else
you
would it
think?
be?
A goat?
Spider?
All right, you've wasted all of Peggy's time, so it's time to vote. So mark your ballots, if you will, please. Mark them at once, without change, without any consultation. Just vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted unhesitatingly for number 3 because he seems to have the quality of an Irish tenor voice, and he's just that kind of good-looking, fresh boy that Mitch would love to have on his show. Besides, I didn't get to ask one any questions again.
Peggy Cass.
I didn't get to ask any questions, but I voted for 3 because he looks very Irish to me, and I'm Irish, and it takes one to know one.
Orson Bean.
I was going to vote for 2 because to me he looks like all the guys on the Mitch Miller show, but I voted for 3 because of the thing about the Jimmy Starbuck or whatever. I don't know if that sounds right, but to come up with...
that's right. Jimmy was the
Yeah,
choreographer
Jimmy, he
on the
was.
show.
I don't care.
Wonderful.
Joan Fontaine.
I felt that number 1 should have known that the Imperial Hotel faces the palace, etc., etc. And I'm afraid I voted for number 3, and here we go again.
How about that? Unanimous all the way down the line. Didn't work too well last time, did it? However, let's find out how it works this time in learning which of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Bob McGrath. Will the real Bob McGrath please stand up? Thank you. Now, Bob, no Irish tenor can ever appear on television without singing Danny Boy. So how about giving us a Japanese version?
Japanese?
Japanese.
All right.
He's going to do it in Japanese.
Yuzu
Junko Tajima, Kazura Fujita Nobuki Yanai, Masao Kojima Tatsu Nozaki, Hiroshi Izumi, and Tanaka-san. Shake hands with all of your neighbors and kiss the Collins all. You're as welcome as the flowers in May in dear old Tokyo.
Well, Bob, in one fell swoop, you explained the answer to the question of why you stayed and why they're keeping you there. It's a lovely voice, and you're doing great things with it. Continued success to it.
Thank you very much, bud.
Number one, what is your real name, and what do you really do?
My name is Frederick Trask. I teach mathematics at the Greenwich Country Day School in Greenwich, Connecticut.
And number two, what is your real name, and what do you do, sir?
My name is Tom Turney. I'm a dining car steward for the Seaboard Airline Railroad.
Well, in checking the score, we find that this unanimity bit that the panel seems to be on tonight so far worked well for them this time. No incorrect votes, but in that case, there still is $150 coming your way, and I do hope you enjoyed your visit to us. We certainly enjoyed having you here. Goodbye, and God bless you. And now let's meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Latencia Jamkowski.
My name is Latencia Jamkowski.
My name is Latencia Jamkowski.
Follow along with your copies of this one, if you will, panel, which you've not seen as yet. I, Latencia Jamkowski, experimented with a chemical formula last spring that hopefully will safeguard the lives of our future astronauts. It may very well prove immunization against the deadly effects of radiation in outer space. Just a shot in the arm and radiation hazards could be a thing of the past. The United States Air Force thinks so highly of my discovery that I have been given the Aerospace Medical Award and have been asked to represent the Air Force at a scientific exposition in Japan. I worked on my formula as a project for my high school science fair and conducted all of my experiments in a laboratory set up in my bedroom closet. Signed, Latencia Jamkowski. Very well, panel. These three young ladies all claim to be Latencia Jamkowski. We'll start with Joan Fontaine. Joan?
Thank you very much, Bud. Number three, what would H2O2 be?
H2O2. Tell you the truth, I forgot.
Number two, would you like to take a stab at that?
I believe it's hydrogen peroxide.
Number one, where did you do this? What city was this?
In Madison, Wisconsin.
And how many years of chemistry have you had?
1.
Number three, have you made any other experiments besides this that have been successful?
Yes, I've worked on 2 other experiments.
Tom Poston.
This is so fascinating. I must say, we've got to congratulate the young lady coming and going. Number 2, what is a cosmic ray?
Cosmic ray?
I ask because I don't know, not because I'm trying to...
Well, it's some sort of radiation that comes from outer space.
And number 1, does your immunization shot protect astronauts against those rays?
I couldn't say. It's been experimented with cobalt-60.
Well, number 1, is your mother or father a scientist? Is that why you got started in this?
My father's an air pollution engineer.
Yes, you could use him here. Number 3, tell me, please, how did you know where to begin?
Peggy Cass.
Number 2, do you go, where's your high school?
In Richfield, Connecticut.
And number 3, where's yours?
Lodi, New Jersey.
Well, that doesn't help me at all. Now, number 1, what big electrical company gives a prize every year for a science prize in high schools?
I don't know. General Electric?
Thank you. Number 2, is cobalt radioactive?
Cobalt-60 is.
Oh. Thank you. Number 3, if you only studied for 1 year, I mean, you must have caught on very quickly. I studied for 2, and I don't know one thing about it. Did you only study it for 1 year?
I had chemistry for 1 year and biology for 1.
Thank you. Number 2, what's in the formula? I want to be wrong.
Oh, Orson B.
Number 1, what's the Van Allen belt?
The Van Allen belt? It's a belt around the Earth. It is a radioactive belt.
Number 2, I want to find out, when you found this thing, were you looking for it?
Yes. This experiment was set up with specific outline.
Well, number 1, when you found it, how did you know who to go to with the information?
I was in a science fair.
A science fair?
Yes.
And you just spoke to
That's it. Time for you now to mark your ballots, if you will, please. Mark them at once, without change, without any consultation. Just simply vote, if you will, now. And vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked? Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, but in this case, I'm sorry to say we had to vote for someone. I think that it could possibly be number 2 because of the correct answers, chemistry speaking, so I voted for her.
Peggy.
They were all wonderful, though.
I voted for 1 because she knew what Van Allen's belt was. I thought it was something Baby Jane Holzer probably was wearing.
Orson B.
Could have been any of them. I voted for 2 because of her answers and because that's radioactive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but you don't have to worry.
Joan Fontaine.
Well, but none of these ladies have used hydrogen peroxide, but it is H2O2, so I voted for number 2.
Oh, that's right. You're the keen one on the formulae, aren't you? What is H2O? What's H2O2?
Hydrogen peroxide.
What's H2OCH?
What?
Hooch.
Oh,
Right.
no!
Now, the votes are all in.
Why do I straight for him?
The minds are made up. The reasons given. Let's find out now. Which one of these 3 young ladies is, in truth, Latencia Jamkowski? Will the real Latencia Jamkowski please stand up? Oh, boy. Nice job. Boy, you're swinging both ways tonight, panel. Latencia, I just want to say on behalf of the panel, I'm sure they join in with this, just exactly how very proud we all are to have you with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name's Catherine Williams, and I'm a student at the University of Wisconsin.
And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Deborah Brand, and I'm a volunteer worker at the American Youth Hostels.
Well, what can I say? You've got the world in your lap tonight because you got all wrong votes. Therefore, that's 4 times $250 for the second time tonight. $1,000 coming your way, ladies. Thank you for gracing our show. Good night, and God bless you. We'll be back in a minute, but right now, this important message. That's all the time we have for now. Goodbye, panel.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't forget to join us the same time next week. I'll see you tomorrow on the daytime show. In the meantime, don't forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. To Tell the Truth was brought to you this evening by Crest, the toothpaste that's been clinically tested, the toothpaste that is effective against cavities. Crest. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.